Yo, 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 yo! What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, how you doing today, my brother?
Doing good, Juan. It's a Monday. How this was a bye week for y'all, right? So there was no disappointment, just love.
Probably could have
Or did I?
lost the bye week too,
Yeah,
arguably.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I will say this: you're not the biggest mess in football. That's for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I can
You're
agree with
not.
that.
You're
I don't
not.
know. I don't know. We're pretty bad. Got the number 5 pick, for the fans who love tanking. So there you go. Shove that up your ass. Um, yeah. Make sure to
Has
subscribe.
your view on? So go ahead and I'll ask the question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have. We greatly appreciate it. What were you gonna say, Max?
Has your views on tanking for a top pick changed at all in recent years? Just because the quarterbacks. Like when we were kids, for instance, right? Like I felt that tanking was like exponentially forbidden in NFL,
Yeah.
right? It was absolutely you don't tank, you can win with the quarterback. But recently, it seems like, are we ever going to have a draft again where a quarterback doesn't go one? Like, what
Yeah.
was the last draft? Like Trayvon Walker?
Yeah. I think it's possible.
How many drafts have gone quarterback one in the last
I
8
would say there
years?
was 3 of them. I want to say Cam Robinson or what's his name? Greg was
That
Greg.
was can't no. Greg Robinson was two. Here, I'm gonna
Who
look it up
won
real
that
quick.
draft?
I don't.
Was it
It wasn't Cam Newton, was it?
James?
No, no.
No. Cam Newton was
Let me see.
2012. That was a stack draft.
Yeah, he's 2014, right?
Uh,
Clowney.
okay, so that's one. I know
So
that.
hold on. So okay. So let's just go 10 years. We'll go 2015. This wasn't even on the docket.
Okay.
So we got Clowney, Jared Goff, Myles Garrett, Baker. I feel like Baker's where it all changes. Kyler,
Mm-hmm.
Burrow, Lawrence,
Yeah.
Purdy. Oh, sorry, Purdy. Sorry, wrong. I read that wrong. Trayvon Walker,
Yeah.
Bryce Young, Caleb. What was that?
No,
8 out of the last 10?
Yeah. It's
See, that's
it's
what I was.
rare. It's rare, but I do think we're gonna definitely see a draft again where a quarterback doesn't go one. Look, my whole perspective on that, Max, is a lot of teams love to assume that they will pick the guy that went there. Like for instance, the Giants. The Giants were one of those teams where they won some games at the end of the year last year. And of course, Jaden Daniels went too. That was one of the guys that were there. It's not for sure that they would have picked Jaden Daniels. Everyone says that in hindsight. I mean, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah. That
People
I
love to
feel
assume.
like I hate that discussion, right? I totally agree with you. I hate when it's like, if we had the number one pick, we were going to take like the guy who went.
Yeah, like
It's always
bullshit.
seems it's like the Saints, like, oh, we were going to take Mahomes at 11 if he was there. It's like, oh well, he wasn't.
Right.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
He was probably high on your board. He was probably in the running, but
Yeah,
like,
it all depends. It all
come on.
depends on who has the pick. Like people, I think the narrative gets pushed so much. This is part of what happened to Bryce Young. Bryce Young was consensus
He was-
number one pick for the most
yeah,
part. For the most part.
number one pick, probably for the year before that, because he won the Heisman the year before he came out, I
Yes.
believe.
But
And then they were like, number one pick, here he is.
I strongly agree that like if there was maybe another team that was in the number one spot, that can all be flipped and be like CJ Stroud's the consensus number one pick. Like, oh, this is the guy that they're picking. It all depends on who the team is. Like every team's drafting and scouts are completely different. Everything is different, bro. And the tanking thing, like especially like this is me personally coming from a Raider fan. What I tell every fucking Raider fan. Yeah, because drafting has been so well for us. Whether we're at fucking 1, 2, 23, 15, 24. It doesn't matter. You still got to pick the right guy. That's part of the drafting.
It's also, too, it's like we hear so much of can't miss prospects. Like Trevor Lawrence. And I don't mean to just shit on him. He was a can't miss guy. Me and you thought so, too. Like, wow, this guy is. And truthfully, he hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been. It hasn't been like, oh my God, this guy right here is just lighting the world on fire. It hasn't been what we thought. Like almost every quarterback from that draft, it's not what we thought. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I was talking to Dak about this. Shout out to Dak. He streams every day on Twitch. Check him out. Dak Phenom 411. Shameless plug. But I was talking to him about this. I'm like, I hate people who are like, you never played football. You never played quarterback. You're not a professional. Well, it's like, well, that doesn't mean what we say is invalid, right? You love the Raiders. You watch the Raiders every week. You know more about the Raiders than 85% of the fans, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't know who they should draft. Like, bro, we both were on Brock Bowers. We both loved him. Yeah. There's plenty of guys we've missed on. Like, I totally missed on.
Look, yeah,
whatever.
The whole narrative, Max. I mean, shout out to us that we even do this as something for entertainment, but it's like nobody ever goes 100%. It's impossible.
No. But like that's to say too, like we've had some like things like hey, the 49ers with their great front office made a disaster pick. Mm-hmm. A disaster pick for number 3 for Trey Lance. Like we all know it. Me and Juan were like, this guy, don't touch him with the 10-foot pole. Not worth it. Yeah. Not worth it, right? Mm-hmm. So we were better than that NFL team. But that's just to say every team, with all the hours and money, it's still kind of a crapshoot. And my team has tanked. I don't know if you remember. I think was it Howie Doug Peterson's Sunday last season? Yeah, he absolutely tanked that game. He was like, I'm done. We're just going to tank. We're going to play for the draft position. I can't even remember who we got that year. That's a great question for me. So, like I said, I don't think tanking always works out because we literally crucified Houston for going to number 2, and it totally worked out for them.
Yeah,
totally did.
I'm never going to be that fan that roots for my team to lose. It's not in my DNA. I have too much pride for it. And I've just seen too many instances where whether you win or lose, man, it's like you still got to pick the right fucking guy, you know? Look, we got a little off tangent, but it was a good conversation.
Yeah. Who'd you guys pick? Devontae Smith. Great tank. Great job. I think that was a loaded ass class, though. I feel like
it was. That was. I
can't remember who we fell from. Like we literally had.
Well, you guys traded,
like Micah,
I believe.
Yeah, to go up. Micah Parsons still there. Rashawn Slater. Mm-hmm. Like so many good. Alex Leatherwood. Shout out to him.
That was a fun draft. That was one of our first drafts. That was
when the power went out. Like like the gas line leak. That was crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to Alex Leatherwood. Not a great draft for the Raiders.
That was the pick it went out too. Just to I was like, if that wasn't a fucking like what do they call it? A sign of things to come.
Exactly.
The power goes out. But yeah, sorry. I just wanted to bring that up because like it's obvious the Raiders aren't in contention for anything. Like this year's over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, we talked about the Raiders on their bye week. Good job.
Go.
First topic.
Monday Night Football. Just little thoughts. Nothing crazy. The Rams. They went 1 for 10 on third down. I believe at one point they probably kind of made that number a little bit better at the end. But I think that was the biggest talking point of the game was the third downs. They could not convert. They had 5 field goals. One of them was missed. Great red zone defense by the Dolphins. They kept on blitzing Stafford on third down.
You know how I talked about the Rams are getting these linemen back, Avila, Jonah Jackson.
Yeah.
They're definitely they got them back, but what they look like is like they didn't know what to do. Like that makes sense. Like they were like, and they were like they couldn't pick it up, and that was a great wrinkle by, who's their DC? Is it Don Shula's grandson, Chris Shula? Great job by him. Yeah. I still don't like Miami. I still think they're done. And dude, they showed the graphic of the AFC East, worst division of football. Again, always is.
Shout out to the Bills, man, for still winning that division.
Yeah,
they're the most consistent thing. I mean, that's the reality.
Will this division ever have like 2 teams consistently good for years from like it was the Patriots for 20 years with some fun years from the Jets for like
Hmm.
2 years in a row, 3 years, and then they fall off a cliff. Now it's the Bills for 8 years. No teams coming up. I think the Patriots might be coming up
Maybe.
very, just quietly. I love what I've seen from Drake May.
I love it,
I
bro.
I
Yeah.
know we're going to talk about that later, but yeah, Monday Night Football. Dude, Tua is Tua. I don't really know what to say
Yeah.
about the Dolphins. You put out that clip, and I'm sure it's going to backfire. That I was like, they're a soft team. I stand by it. I
Yo,
stand
I
by it.
stand by it 100%. Look, it was a gritty win. Their defense, pulled it out. I thought their defense did an amazing job with all the injuries that they have. Javon Holland, one of the most underrated safeties in the league. I felt like he was flying all over the place tonight. Look, shout out to them. The Rams, I still like them. I still like the Rams. It was a tough loss. I think Troy Aikman said it the best as far as like the Rams are probably going to look back and maybe they missed the playoffs by one game and they're going to look back to the Dolphin game and be like, how the fuck did we lose this game when we had like four opportunities in the red zone and we just could not score? So it's going to be tough.
It's
I still
especially
like what
too
I
with
see.
with McVay. McVay is
Yeah.
such a genius too.
Yeah. Stafford
He
was just
definitely get.
like there was a play where he just missed Kyron Williams. I'm just like,
Yeah, no, I absolutely
man,
agree.
it
And
was tough. It was tough looking.
I still
Um,
like what the Rams have. I just feel like, man, they could be really scary in a year because, like, dude, I see Jared Verse. I see
yes.
their D tackle who is like kicking ass. What's his name?
Braden
He got the
Fisk,
penalty. No, no, not short arm. The Bobby Brown.
Bobby
He was
Brown.
looking good.
Yeah.
So many good young guys. Like again, you look at their team, right? And I talk about it all the time. It's like you're not like not a lot of talent on that defense, but they
Mhm.
sure do a good job.
Yeah.
So I still like the Rams, but yeah, I agree. This is gonna be tough because the Niners, dude, the Rams and the Cardinals have like what a godsend for them to steal a game from the 49ers each.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that
Well.
kind of keeps them alive in the hunt.
Yeah. Exactly. Look, let's switch it over to Sunday. Okay. A lot of great games in the 10 a.m. window for us.
Yeah.
The
I like how
afternoon
you said
was
good
terrible.
good. There's 3 games and three of them two of them sucked. So
Yeah, they're
thank you,
terrible.
Juan, for putting that emphasis on morning games.
Let's start off with the Steelers and the Commanders because I thought that was the marquee game of the week, and it lived up to the hype. It was a great game. The Steelers just hung around. That's the best way I can explain it. And you know what? Shout out to Russell Wilson, bro. This is the best that I have seen him since his second to
Let him
last year in
cook.
Seattle. He's cooking. He's cooking out there. George Pickens is resurrected. They have a run game. Their defense is amazing as always. It was a gritty ass win, bro. And I know it's gonna come up in the comments maybe or in conversation. The Zach Ertz play, I thought he got the first down. It was tough. The refs are being the
Yeah,
refs. But that's
they
just how the
suck.
cookie crumbles,
What's new?
bro. Yeah. But great looking win by the Steelers, man. I like what I see. This is already 3 games or 4 games of Russell Wilson that we've seen so far. Great, absolutely amazing, bro. What did you think?
What did I say when we kind of talked about the trade with Mike Williams? What were my exact words when I was like, do you remember? To
No,
see.
what did you say?
Mike Williams is a Russell Wilson ass
Oh yeah,
receiver.
you did say that.
I mean, I felt like that's the clip right there when we talk about the Steelers. Look, I love what Russ has done. He's played better than Justin Fields. Me and you were both kind of on the fence. I think we both root for Fields a lot. And I think there is still a future there with him. Maybe it's kind of like a Geno Smith where you kind of got to be a backup for 6 years. But Russell Wilson's came out and balled. He's given this team an identity. He's got the offense moving. He looks crisp, grid pass. He went through really how long was he in Denver? 2 years? Two
Two
really
years.
weird years in Denver. The first one was from the start, just a joke, head coach,
and
everything.
and a weird year. His last year in Seattle, it was a lot of injuries. It was just a weird season. So we haven't seen a good, healthy Russell Wilson in 3 years, and we're seeing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely balling. I don't think he's he's not the game changer elite quarterback that we're used to seeing from him. but he showed that he still has a lot of talent, and he still shows he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
great job, man. Pittsburgh's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah. On the Commanders side, Max, um, this is just a couple of the lumps that you're gonna have for a team like them. I thought they should have. This is when their defense just like shows up, bro, and like they need Marshawn Lattimore like bad. They need him to be like an elite guy for them because their corners were getting torched. Like their corners are just not good, bro, and their defense is kind of soft at times. They play that game where it's like, we'll give up yards, we'll stop them in the red zone, and sometimes it works, but this time it was not working, bro.
And one, a good corner, what they can do for defense, it can just open everything else up. If you can just say, we can trust this guy over here. Yeah. We can do this with the 10 other guys. And like you said, that could be a big change for them.
Yeah. And they have a lot of young players, Jaden Daniels, another guy that I like to point out that was kind of the reason why it got the nail in the coffin. But Johnny Newton went off sides on probably the play of the game. Rookie out of Illinois that I really liked. Yeah, young guy. But I think they'll be fine. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to blink.
I want to say this. I don't feel like you can even – this loss doesn't dampen what they've done this year. It doesn't say, oh, they were fake. They were fake. Pittsburgh's good. Pittsburgh's a good team. As much as I hate to say it, they're a good team. And even if they lose this Thursday, I'm not going to take it away what they've done. It's a Thursday night game one. You know how weird these games are. Yeah. They're playing the Eagles this Thursdays. Yeah, it's a big game for sure. And I hate that it's a Thursday, the first matchup. That sucks.
Yeah, especially
4 days. Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, just Washington fans, just rejoice because the odds are you're not going to win a Super Bowl. This will come back to bite me if they do. But you're playing with house money. No one thought you'd be this good to start the year. I didn't. Most of the experts didn't. I'm sure even your own team didn't know that much. Yeah. So just rejoice. Because, like, literally, this is his first kind of not even that bad of a game, you would say. One just kind of, damn, like, we kind of left something out there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And if you look at the number one pick, like, they're talking about benching him. They're talking about benching Caleb Williams. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. Like, I don't know if that was even on the docket. I can't even remember.
No.
But
look, we talked about the Bears last week. We hit it right on the nose.
Who'd they play again? I'm trying to blank. Atlanta.
Atlanta. No, they didn't play Atlanta.
Who'd they play?
They played
New England?
New England, yeah. They lost to New England.
Oh. Yeah. Dude, I called it. They're bullshit. They are bullshit. They are not a good team. The offensive line sucks. The offense sucks. What more do you... This is not Caleb Williams, man. I will say, though, let's develop those bad habits with the way they're playing. Let's do it. Yeah. You want to add anything?
No, I mean, look, I'm not going to put it all on Caleb Williams. Can he play better? Yeah, 100%. But this offensive line is a fucking issue, bro. And I think more than anything, it's the coaching. I think Shane Waldron is fucking terrible. You know what's a good interview that people should look up? Maybe I should have got it for the podcast, but there's an interview by like Jackson Smith and Jigba where they ask him about Shane Waldron. And he kind of just paused. He was just like, he couldn't say anything good about the guy. At the end of it, he was just like, oh, he's a great human being. Like, he's not a great coach or anything like that. He's a great human being. And I think that speaks volumes to what he thought of him in Seattle. And I know in the past, like, Seattle was always that team where schematically they weren't good. They won by their talent. And I feel like they're trying to do that in Chicago. And the talent can only get you so far. Look at McVay. Look at Shanahan. They have these gimme plays. They make it easy on their guys. They don't have to beat one-on-one coverage every single time. And it just seems like they're going out there and being like, Roma Duze, win. Keenan Allen, win. DJ Moore, win. And it's like, it's not going to work.
I've seen their passing offense one, and I haven't studied it as well as I should have, but I've like really kind of tried to keep an eye on it. This all came about because I saw people on Twitter talking about like how bad Caleb is and how bad like the Bears are. their offense is just like the least creative thing I've ever seen.
And
It's
if
like they
anyone,
were
if
talking about his pocket presence, and they're like, "Oh, look at him." I'm like, "Who's he going to throw to?
no one's
No one's
open,
open."
no one is
Like we
open.
saw this with the Colts in Week 3, and we're like, "Dude, what are they doing?
Yeah,
They can't punch the ball in from the 1 yard line. This team is soft. Like their offensive line cannot move anybody.
yeah,
Their team is not good, and we called it. We called it.
yeah. The Bears are just not a good team, bro. Look, as far as anyone being on the hot seat, they're talking about Caleb losing his job or, anyone else. I'm so confused why Matt Eberflus is just this safe guy. They make it seem like he's so safe. They even had a report saying no matter what happens this year, they can lose every single game till now, and his job is safe. I don't understand it.
That's crazy. That's
Absolutely fucking
outrageous.
insane, bro. Absolutely insane. I think that's the guy that you need to point to. Look, the defense has been good, but part of being a head coach, Max, is hiring the right guys around you. Maybe you shouldn't have hired Shane Waldron. That's on you, dog. Sorry.
Absolutely. I mean, you were like, really? Like this is who we're gonna get?
Yeah.
I. It's baffling to me. Really quick, just talk New England. Drake May, man. A lot of people were underwhelmed with him during the draft process. Like I think Chris Sims had him really low. I think other people had him low. Look, I get he's really raw, but man, he makes so many plays for them. I like what I've seen. I think he's a little bit ahead of where I thought he'd be, and I knew it was going to be a little raw. But just the tools and how competitive the guy is, I think New England has their guy. I don't want to be too early, but I like what he's brought. Man, he's a gamer,
And
really
that's
is.
why it's so weird, Max. That's why football is so, it's so fun. Like that's why we gravitate towards it, but it's so weird because you can argue that like, hey, Drake May is in a worse situation than Caleb. And it's like,
Yeah, that old line's trash too.
yeah, like he's uplifting his guys though. Like he's making Pop Douglas look like a competent wide receiver. Like they have a run game and he makes plays with his feet, and I don't know, bro. Like it's hard to judge. Like his coaching is not all that amazing. I don't think Gerard Mayo's some fucking mastermind and they got, you know, great coaches in New England, you know? So it does make you wonder, like if this whole, like maybe it is Caleb, but it's just so hard to evaluate, bro. Maybe it's something that me and Max have to like go back in the lab and really watch on what's really going on in Chicago. But it is alarming, dude, because you have this guy in Drake May where it's just like, hey, I got shit around me. I'm still making plays. I'm still having us in ball games and winning ball games. It speaks volumes, bro. That's what great quarterbacks do. Great quarterbacks cover up all the nasty shit around you, whether it's coaching, bad offensive line, no weapons. They cover that shit up. The great ones do. So I love Caleb to death, bro. As much as I want to say that, everything around him is terrible, there is that possibility in my head, like maybe this guy just ain't it. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
I
It's
think we
early.
might have to do a little segment next week, or me and you might have to go back and watch the all 22 because I watched this game like in and out. I had like an extra TV. I was in and out of the game. It was just ugly from start to finish. I mean, their offense has been ugly to start, so that's why I'm not people. I feel like that winning those two games and they looked competent. Like I guess people forgot how bad they were. Like the
Mhm.
first 3 weeks, like they were going to lose against the Titans. Their offense sucked. Will Levis was like, here's the game. Here's a pump block. There you go. But I need to go back and kind of evaluate Caleb because, like you said, there's a possibility we could both be wrong and it's all him. But just knowing Shane Waldron and seeing the offense, it's
Yeah,
hard for me to think that.
yeah,
Hey,
one
New
hundred
England's
percent.
defense isn't like wow,
Yeah, they're good.
they're
Their defense is good.
tremendous.
Yeah,
They're good, but they're not like oh my god, how this is the 85. It's not like
right.
nothing elite.
It's not the
It's a good
Bears
defense.
defense.
It's yeah, exactly. It's like a top. It's like the 10th best defense or 12th best
Yeah,
or whatever. It's like somewhere in there. They're not super elite, and that's what I'm just like shocked by. That this Bears offense is crap.
yeah, one
But
hundred
that's it.
percent. Yeah.
Sorry, I know that wasn't on the schedule,
No,
but I
you're
just wanted
good.
to
You're
rant.
good. Let's move on to an elite defense. An undefeated defense. Kansas City Chiefs. Somehow, some way, get a win. Bo Nix. I need to start off there. fuck the Chiefs. Fuck anything about them. Yeah, they won. I'm sorry. This is a statement game by Bo Nix. I thought he played absolutely amazing. He threw a deep ball, Max, which
Mhm.
I was shocked by. I was like, that's it. That's what I've been waiting for. He threw an absolute dime to Sutton. The Broncos defense played absolutely lights out. It's the recipe for Mahomes. You have to get pressure on him if you have any chance to win, and they did that. Nick Bonito, shout out to him. He played a great game. Zach Allen, their defensive line just terrorized the Chiefs on Sunday, and unfortunately, they get a blocked field goal by Chenault, who is strong as an ox and absolutely pummeled the offensive lineman and got the block. Uh,
The Chiefs are ridiculous, man.
yeah.
Denver won this game. Denver outplayed them.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that a gimme kick too. It wasn't. I think that kick is made 99% of the time. It just sucks. Like I said, Bo Nix, man. Again, you just keep seeing the steps in the right direction, right? Like Denver's not going to compete this year for a championship. They might sniff the playoffs, might sneak in, but you just see the team growing around this kid, and you see him getting better and better every week. So
Yeah.
Denver, it's the arrow, is ticking in the right direction, and the Chiefs just continue to win. And the one thing I'll say that's a little different, and it's just because like there's the pedigrees, like the Eagles last year were like 8-1, right, or 9-0, or whatever they were, and I remember thinking like, this is kind of like, can this keep up? And I remember like the first loss, I'm like, oh god, like this is the beginning. But the Chiefs, like even if they lose this game, you're not like, oh, now the whole house of cards is gonna crumble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
that's
playing
what
with
it
house
is.
money at this point.
Correct.
But
Correct.
look, I think 100% like the Broncos are going to be that hot team going into next year where everyone's going to be on them.
Mhm.
Just to have some fun with it. What do you think is going to put them over the top to make you feel like, oh my god, like they're scary now? Like obviously, like yeah, Bo Nix needs to keep on growing. Certain players got to keep on growing. But what's the position that you feel like that they add, whether it's a free agent, hitting a home run in the draft, like what's the position?
Some type of defensive line difference maker, like a real one. Like Nick Bonito's cool.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't say he's Max Crosby or anything like that. Like they need someone, whether it's DT, edge, defensive ends, tweener, someone who can just come in there and kick ass. Like, remember how good Draymond Jones was before he went to Seattle for them?
Yeah.
He was an ass kicker when he was on Denver, and they need something like that. Wouldn't you? What would you say is the
I would say receiver. Just because I would double down on the Bo Nix experiment, and
I hear what you're saying. The reason I didn't say that is because Sean Payton has just proven throughout the course of his career. Like, yeah, he had Marquise Colston. Yeah, he had Michael Thomas, who had one really good year, but he's never had like
the guy.
the guys. Yeah, like he's never had like a Devontae Adams on his prime or a Mike Evans, someone like that. Like he can get it done with just the committee. You know what I mean? But that definitely wouldn't hurt. Definitely wouldn't hurt.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Sean Payton always had some type of game breaker, whether it was Jimmy Graham or Alvin Kamara. They need a guy like that on offense. They need a guy where it's like, our guy's better than yours. He's covered, but he's going to still catch it. You had the right people in the box. It doesn't matter. It's a 70-yard touchdown. They need a home run guy. No, it's not. As much as I like Sutton, he's solid, but he's not the guy. I feel like that's what they're missing. They need to hit a home run in the draft as far as like even this kind of level, like Devon Achane. Like a guy like that.
Some dynamic playmaker would definitely help them. Because right now it's all dinky dunk and stuff like that. They need someone, like you said, just can make a play on defense, splash, someone who can make splash plays, whether it's T tackle, D end, or receiver. I get you mean a running back.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's stick in the AFC West. Okay. I did this segment.
Talking about the Raiders?
No. Okay. I did this segment just for you. Okay. That's because I love you, bro. LA Chargers get a dub. They're what?
Superchargers.
6-4, 6-3. What's their record, man?
I think they're 6-3. I didn't watch this game for very long.
So they beat the Tennessee Titans. Look, man.
6-3.
Yes, they're 6-3. They're 3 games back of the Chiefs. That's
You know, you
crazy
have
as
the
that
number
is.
one scoring defense.
Yeah, they have the number one defense in a lot of categories. They've been dominating, and Justin Herbert. The stats are never gonna say. This is why stats are just so fucking stupid. Justin Herbert is playing lights out the last like 3 weeks. I think one of the biggest differences in him, he's healthy. He is finally healthy. He's using his feet. Nothing seems to be a problem as far as like ribs or his foot. Some shit with Herbert because he's always getting beat up back there.
If you were gonna say like one, if you're a defense coordinator last 3 years, right, and it's Brandon Staley and the Chargers, like what's the number one priority? Like what's the identity of the Chargers offense?
It's offensive line. Like, what do you
No, I'm
mean?
saying like what's their priority? Like if you like the Chargers are coming to town, this is what we expect. We're gonna see like the Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, the Keenan Allen show, right? That's what you're
Yeah,
gonna get the
yeah,
last 3 years of him.
mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna air this bitch out 40
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Like that identity is gone. Like when teams go in, like this is I know how crazy it's gonna sound, like they're not worried about Herbert, but they're like, how do we stop the run? Like we have to stop the run to stop Chargers.
Yeah.
Like they want to pound the like I bet Jim Harbaugh would love to win a game like Shanahan. Like, let's just run the ball 35 fucking times and throw it like 10.
It's facts.
And this is what's crazy about like the evolution. And I kind of called this and I told you this is going to happen. I think this is even better than I thought, though. I will say that. I was like, they're going to come in. He's going to be a competent head coach. They're going to like run the ball, take some shots. Like, I think they showed a stat. I don't know if you saw this. He threw the ball on average his like last 3 years was 39 times a game. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And his touchdown ratio to interception was 2.2.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like low 20s, like 22, and it's 10 touchdown to interception ratio. But I'm like, because the whole guy doesn't have to carry the whole fucking offense anymore.
Yeah.
He's don't get me wrong, their passing offense still isn't great. There's not a lot of difference makers. It's like Vlad McConkey, Palmer,
but he hits it when they need it. He hits it.
Yeah, he's elevating those guys though.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, let me move in the pocket, avoid this guy, just sling a laser. It's 3rd and 2. Let me just juke and put my head down and get it. It's like it's unbelievable how they're playing with him. They're going to be a pain in the ass, man. Because again, there's still that like thing about you. It's like Justin Herbert can outduel Mahomes. Like Justin Herbert can go toe to toe with him. He can go toe to toe with Allen. Like this guy is that talented.
Yeah. They kind of remind me of a poor man's Chiefs. Honestly, like the way that they've been playing the last couple of years. I know they don't have like the Travis Kelce's of the world and stuff, but the way that Mahomes manages the game, they're asking Herbert to manage the game. And he's doing a phenomenal job, just like Mahomes. It's like, we're down. We need a 3rd down and 6. I'm going to get it. I got you. So, look, I wouldn't say that I'm scared of the Chargers. I do think I have to say this, okay? And call me a Charger hater all you want. The opponents that they have been playing have not been the greatest. They did just beat the Titans, who are not a good football team. They play the Panthers, who weren't a good football team. Like these are just some of the teams that they played. They played the Raiders, who are not a good football team. That's part of their defense having a great points per game stat. So I would just say this: I want to see them. I want to see them against the AFC elite or even the NFC elite. I don't know what their schedule looks like.
I will say the one against the Chiefs and against like the good teams they played, the Chiefs, Cardinals, and Steelers. Mm-hmm. They're in those games. Like it's still tough though. Like they do pass the eye test in my book, but I agree the stats are a little inflated because you beat down on these trash teams. It happens.
Saints. They played the Saints with no Derek Carr. They were banged up. So. Take some context into it. Look, they're still good. Herbert is still amazing. I will pump the brakes as far as anyone saying like this is a sleeping giant is someone that you have to keep an eye on to worry about getting beat in the playoffs and going on a deep run.
They're just the upset. That's all they're going to do is upset someone and then lose. I think they're not going to. Like this team isn't like people want to say like, oh, Jim Harbaugh with the 49ers. Like, dude, that Niners team was loaded.
Different levels.
Yeah. Correct. What's next?
Right. I want to talk about 2 teams, and I want to ask you a simple question. Who are you more worried about, the Vikings or the Falcons?
Oh, Falcons, for sure. Falcons, yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Falcons. Falcons lose to the Saints. The fucking banged up Saints.
How do
Marcus
you lose
Valdez
this
Scantling.
fucking game? See, this
I
is
mean,
what
this
I
is so
again.
Falcon like though. This is
This
what
is what
like
I said. I'm like, sell it, bro. They're gonna lose some fucking stupid game that they should win. It's like Kirk Cousins is gonna just like stare down a receiver, pick Tyrann Matthew. Like, God, like this was such a winnable game. Like, there's, oh my God, it's so bad. And I guess like this was like the like quintessential like you just fired the coach. Like, there's a new energy in the whole. But this game was still winnable.
yes.
Like, I'm sorry, you can't let a guy off the fucking street come in and just torch you. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
just
can't
embarrassing.
happen.
It's an embarrassing loss. Like, it really is. Like, again, this is maybe one of those cases where the Falcons showed up and they're like, well, we're gonna fucking win. We're the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they missed some kicks, but dude, I think they play, and I think this is their schedule. It's the Broncos, the Chargers, the Vikings, or Raiders, one of those two. It's like, you fuck around right here, you go 1-3 in this stretch, and you're out on the outside looking in.
Yeah. Look, there was just that scent about the Falcons, Max. Like you couldn't really explain because they were playing good. They're winning games. It's just something that you feel with this team that's just weird that they can just drop and turn into a pumpkin at any fucking time. I just can't trust them. I can't trust it. It's like they have a committee back sometimes with Bijan. It's like, yeah, Bijan had an amazing game, but it's like sometimes it's like, are they running Tyler Algier a little bit too much? And then it's like, does Drake London even exist? Where's Kyle Pitts at? Kirk Cousins is kind of turning into like a bad Kirk Cousins game. Oh, the defense is getting burned by Marcus Valdez Scantling. Like I thought we had a good defense. It's always that chance of just them laying an egg, bro. And that's what they did, and that's what they're capable of. And that's why you just cannot trust them. Like they're just one of these teams that you can't touch with a 10-foot pole. And I can easily see this team getting their shit kicked in their first playoff game. Like let's say they play the Eagles again. If the Eagles were to play a Max, are you confident that the Eagles will beat down on them? Because I'm confident.
Yeah, I would be. I would be, yeah.
So, yeah, I can't trust the Falcons. On the Viking side, they're turning into a pumpkin, and specifically Sam Darnold. It looks like Sam Darnold is kind of falling back down to earth. They almost lose this game to the Jags. They end up winning the game, but
Trevor
man,
Lawrence
was
didn't
it
play.
ugly.
Just to
Mac Jones.
dude, this was real quick. This was a great thing. By the way, there's a reason they drafted JJ McCarthy. There is.
Yes.
As awesome as Sam Darnold looked, they weren't like, hey, we're going to give him $100 million after this year and just ride it out. I think Jacksonville's defense still has some talent on there. It's a sloppy game, like you said. It was just messy all around. They pulled it out. You know, these things happen week to week. Jacksonville's desperate. But I just want to say this. Doug Peterson, that should have been his last game. You should have fired him. You can tell how, like, talented guys are just, like, done with this shit. Like, Trayvon Walker, it's all frustration. It's not, like, just this game. Like, he's just so like, the whole team's frustrated. They're badly coached. What's new? I don't know what to say. I was shocked. I can't believe he's not fired yet. And I know they're going to be like, well, Trevor Lawrence didn't play. I'm like, really? Do you think that would have mattered with Jacksonville? Like, that's going to be the thing? Yeah. As much as I love Trevor Lawrence and I want him to be good, like, is that the thing, holding this team back, Trevor Lawrence?
No. They have a lot of problems. I agree with you. Like, I'm shocked that Doug Peterson is still there. Who would have thought that if you were to tell me, Max, by this point of the season, the Jags are going to have 2 wins, I'm putting my money that Doug Peterson is going to be fired, and he's still there.
Yeah.
So
I would have lost money because I would have bet he'd been fired like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So definitely head scratching there. On the Viking side, it's tough, bro. I really do think that Sam Darnold is really turning back into a human and not playing so good. And I think the Darisaw injury is huge. It's huge.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a really good left tackle.
Yeah. Aaron Jones gets banged up. I know he came back into the game, but that's a concern right there. So very concerning.
Let's pump the brakes one. I think you owe it to them to pump the brakes a little. Like, you're talking about it like it's a shirt day. I think you got to pump the brakes.
Well,
let's give it one more week.
Here's the thing, though. Let's talk about the NFC North. It's not a cakewalk, bro. Like, the Lions keep on winning. Let's talk about the Lions a little bit. They beat the Houston Texans. I don't know if you watched the whole game, but
I did.
I can't believe that they won that game. It's one of those things where this is like a Chiefs type win. Like this is a game that the Chiefs wind up winning. And now that the Lions have this in their bag where it's like, oh, we can win games like this too. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
5
amazing.
interceptions was outrageous. Look. Let's take it with a grain of salt. One was a fumble that got deflected, and they called it a pick.
Mm-hmm.
One of those picks was a Hail Mary. No big deal.
Yes.
So he really threw 3, right? 3 and a fumble. Okay. It's unbelievable, though. The Lions' defense was the star of this game. I don't care about the offense. I know they're good. We glaze them enough.
Yeah.
They without Aiden Hutchinson, Darius Smith doesn't play. They were getting after it. Carlton Davis had 2 huge picks. Like CJ Stroud's gonna want that throw back for the rest of his life. That was so bad because he was like, oh, he's so open. Then you just saw a guy sprint like 20 yards in a few seconds and pick.
Yes.
This concerns me about Houston.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about Stroud. He's going through a rough patch. He's a second-year quarterback. I'm concerned about Houston, though. Their defense there were just plays they could have had. I know they had 5 picks, but I felt like, I'm like, when are you going to shut the door on these fucking guys? And I know that's the offense too, shooting themselves in the foot. Something about the team. Like, it's not just an offense, it's not a defensive thing for me. I'm like, when are y'all going to shut the door and stop playing with these guys? And I can't believe it didn't happen.
You know who's a guy that's been mighty quiet this year? Will Anderson. Where's we're at?
Well, he was banged up. He didn't play this game, I don't think.
To me, it's like,
but yeah, he didn't pop off like Kayvon Thibodeau came on late. And we're like, when's he gonna pop off second year?
Yeah.
Like Will Anderson's been a little quiet. I agree with you.
Yeah. But this is who Houston is. Like Houston doesn't go out there and dominate like good teams. Like they've always won ugly. They win a lot winning ugly, especially last year. But this is kind of who they are. Like I'm not surprised that they're dropping games like this.
I'm Lions. Not worried. Are you? Like, are you like Houston can't win?
The fact that they're in the South doesn't worry me because I can't trust any of those teams in the AFC South. There's literally nobody. Like
you don't trust Houston?
No. Besides Houston, like who's gonna catch up to them?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like even if they play the Chiefs, you're like they have no chance, or you'd be like they kind of need to have one of those games. Like the Chiefs have to lose, or what? Like what's your thing with them?
I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender like everyone was talking about. I think they're a good team, but I think the fact that they can go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs, I don't have confidence. I don't have confidence in them.
I would say they have a chance because that's how highly I think of their team, but it's a small chance. And I will say this: the injuries to receiver have hurt them, but it's not Stephon Diggs. It's Nico Collins, and he's coming back next week because he almost played this game, but they miss him bad. And I will say this. John Mechie, shout out to you. You had a great game. Like, this is a really talented guy who fought cancer and kind of lost his way on the depth chart. But I like to see that. I just want to shout out to John Mechie. You know how much I liked him coming out.
Yeah. One more thing on the Lions, and then we'll probably end it. I think there's 2 great teams in the NFL, and I think there's a pretty big gap. It's the Chiefs and the Lions. I don't think anyone is on their levels. Like, to me, those are the 2 best teams. They win in all types of different ways. They can hit you with great defense. They can hit you with quarterback play. They can hit you with the run game. They can win multiple ways. And to me,
coordinators. Good head coaches.
Yes, great coaching. I don't know. I don't see anyone close. Not the Bills. As good as the Ravens like to look, sorry, their defense is not good enough. I don't like their defense. Their defense gets torched. Jamar Chase just had a freaking 3-touchdown game against them, So, to me, it's the Lions and the Chiefs until anyone comes in there and prove me otherwise. Because to me, those are the 2 best teams. And I don't see anyone beating those teams. Who do you see beating the Lions?
I mean,
in a
like
playoff game.
Look, there's very few teams. I would say the only 2 teams that have a very slim chance would be the Niners. It may be the Eagles, just because they have big bodies. But other than that, I still don't like either team's chance. Like you said, if they played each team 10 times, the Lions are going to win 8 of those games.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take the perfect game for them to win. Like the Lions are the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Maybe the Packers could beat them too. That's it. But like again, it's kind of like those teams have to play their perfect game. Lions could win a game in a playoff game where they throw 2 picks and like they're that good.
That's a great way to put it. The Lions at their best. I don't think anyone's beating them.
I think the Lions have to lose a game.
Yes.
They have to they have a turnover, they fumble the ball out of bounds on the 2-yard line. It's a touchback type shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because even though Jared Goff had 5 picks, do you think that was your typical Jared Goff game? It didn't feel like that.
No, it wasn't even like, damn, he's playing so bad. I'm like, he's under duress. Mm-hmm. Like the offensive line missed Taylor Decker, and they D'Amico Ryans had a great game plan in the first half. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, damn, they're hanging around. This is crazy. And then Dan Campbell's like, we got to get a turnover. He gets a turnover. I'm like, this is perfect.
Well, they got the best safety duo in the league. Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are fucking causing havoc every week, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and is Melifonwu hurt, or he's just not playing anymore?
I think he is hurt.
Even last year he was getting some burn. No. Maybe the Cowboys. Oh, they're not. They're done. I'm sorry.
Did you want to say something about the Cowboys?
Yes, I did. Those are some crazy comments, bro. Dude, you know me. I usually don't like to make a headline out of post-game comments. But I talked to Dak today because I don't typically watch. I don't watch a lot of post-game comments. He's like, what do you think about Micah? And I was like, what did he say exactly? And he's like, well, he said it. And I was like, you know how Dak can be with the Cowboys. He's like, I hate this team. They suck. Micah sucks. Everyone sucks. This Jerry Jones sucks. He's right. But I was like, maybe he's over exaggerating. And I read it and I was like, oh God, that's like, how is that not conduct detrimental to the team? Like TO, you're doing sit-ups in the driveway.
Yeah. So if you guys if you guys don't know, Micah Parsons, this is not word by word, but he basically said he was asked about Mike McCarthy coming back for next year, and he says, "Not worried about Mike." No. He said basically, "I'm not worried about Mike. Mike can go wherever. I'm not worried about winning for a guy like Mike. I'm more concerned with winning for guys like Zach Martin." He named some of the veterans on that team, like winning a championship for those guys that are Cowboys legends. And
he's done more than Mike ever will or has done. And I was like, That's crazy. That's absurd. And then it's a circus. It's a circus. They love it, though. That's what they love.
Yeah. And this is a guy that has his own podcast.
Oh,
probably would have been a little bit better to say that on your podcast, not your post game.
I don't even know. I think it's horrible. Dude, you want to praise the guy? Literally, all you have to say is I just want to win so badly for for Zach, for whoever else is there for a long time, like Zeke, Dak. What? But you don't have to just go shit on your coach. And again, can't believe he's still there. Can't believe it.
Yeah,
at all.
Well, look, I think like we always say, Max, fish rots from the head down. So Jerry Jones is an issue. I don't know if you've seen the CD
What
Lamb
other
stuff.
Fucking owner would take a press conference after that game?
Nobody. I don't even think Mark Davis. I mean, Mark Davis is just
Let's
as bad
get
as
a press conference.
Yeah.
But no, they're bad in completely different ways. Different ways.
Yeah, I think it's a shit show. It's really bad right now. CeeDee Lamb couldn't see the ball, and basically Jerry Jones said, "Cry me a fucking river. I'm not going to build another stadium, and I'm not going to put curtains into an area that multiple Cowboys for multiple years have struggled with. This is not something that's new, And I get the opponents have to deal with it too, but it's like." You have your star wide receiver telling you, bro, can we just get fucking curtains? Is it really that much of a fucking advantage? Because it's hurting us. And your fucking owner says, shove it up your ass.
Let me say this. That play has no impact on anything to do with them. They suck. Yeah, They're going to continue to suck. And let me just say this. Kind of hard to build a team when you're giving so much money to a quarterback. That's it. I think Dak's a good quarterback. Just want to say that. I just want to say that. I like Dak. A little overpaid. Like him.
Like
maybe you
every
should pay him that
quarterback,
much.
though, Max. Every quarterback's overpaid for the most part.
No, they're not. They're not. Patrick Mahomes isn't overpaid. He's underpaid. Maybe you should take a fucking hint. Because how much difference your life at 50 million than 60? 40. How about that? I get it. They worked their ass off. They deserve the world. $40 million is a lot of money. Sorry, you can't buy that other Lambo you wanted to that other house in the Hamptons.
And another year, his money's gonna go down. That's just how the quarterback market is. But I get you. I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying. By the way, Dak called it. My friend Dak called it from like week 2. He's like, "This team sucks."
Your co-host called it too. Just saying.
Yeah,
right.
I wasn't on. I mean, if they trade Devontae though, they might have been able to stop the run, protect Dak, fix all of it. Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Eagles?
They look good. This is going to be a game, real game.
Jalen Hurts, kind of showing up ever since you've been talking about him. Ever since he had that turnover.
Did you watch this game at all?
Yeah.
You see how many times you're under center?
Very true point.
Look like an offense. I don't know.
I think part of that is having Dallas Goedert back a little bit more. 12 personnel. You know, the full crew was back. Look, anything else, Max, or we're good?
I think we're good. Good episode 1. Great morning and night games. Afternoon sucks.
Afternoon absolutely fucking sucked. This was definitely a week, Max, to go out with the girlfriend, the wife, do what you got to do, take a little bye week off. Raiders didn't play, didn't have to worry about watching the Raider game and getting pissed off, so I took advantage of it, all right? Not a good afternoon Sunday for football. Look, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you guys made it this far into the episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that like button. Greatly appreciate it. I'm going to be dropping that vlog soon. I'm working on it. Been kind of busy. But you guys stay tuned for more content. And we'll see you in the next one. All right? Till next time. Peace. And what it seems, glittering gold both ways. Not on my team. This organic, we don't buy